Let me call Alexei. Because now the interface looks a little different. Oh, no, it's okay. We'll see. Льоша, привіт. Що ти там приєднуєшся? Може, треба твій супорт. Бо ми вже тут з Даніелем. О.
Олексій, Тетяна, good morning.
Слухай, Олексій, а якесь інше вікно?
Good morning.
Good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
Яке вікно, що ти маєш на увазі?
Ну, якийсь інтерфейс інший. Раніше якось було, ми так були зліва, а по центру було якесь вікно.
Та ні, так само було.
Да? Ну, дивись, у нас план такий самий. Даніель буде в цей раз задавати питання. Я покажу презентацію. Тобто на початку, спочатку будемо... А ти розумієш англійською чи ні?
Розумію.
Okay, so first there would be a presentation. So then we will switch off the presentation and we will talk. And then in the end, like in question, on the last questions, I will again share the presentation. And maybe I will tell you, Alexei, could you please put the presentation? Добре?
Окей.
І в цей раз ми домовилися, що ми дозволимо людям ставити питання голосом. Можна?
Я буду включати мікрофон, коли будуть просити.
Окей.
Там народу небагато цей раз.
Да? Скільки?
Not so many people this time.
But it's better. More time to talk with each other. So good morning everyone. So this is our second meeting, and we will wait for some more visitors. But I will tell that last time we asked you to put questions in the chat, but this time we change a little bit the arrangement, and we would enable your microphones so you could ask questions with as you normally do. So, but just raise your hand. You can check the interface, so raise your hand, and then we will enable your microphone so that we have conversation. Alexei, so now you can see my screen.
Yes, I can see.
Okay. Now I stop it for a while until we are waiting for people. Alexei, how many people we have on the registration? Just to know for how many minutes we should wait more?
10 people.
10 people. Okay,
Yes.
very
I
good.
think we have to wait 5 minutes.
I think we may start. For the last minute, no one has joined. Daniel, what do you think?
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. I think, yeah, I agree on that, Russell. So yeah, we can go on. Yeah.
Yeah, so good morning, everyone. This is our second meeting. So we will start with a short introduction of who we are, what we do, what would be the arrangement for today. So I'm Rostislav Mudrik. I am Chief of Products at Ecosoft with experience in water treatment for 13 years. Also, I'm a chemical engineer for water treatment. Daniel, maybe you will introduce yourself. Just a few words.
I'm just Daniel. I'm just the head of the export department on the sales side of Ecosoft, and yeah, it's been already 20 years in water treatment business. So we're gonna try to make some nice, beautiful talks to show everyone what is a nice, beautiful advanced softener, which is absolutely needed and important to have the right information. So let's go on with it today.
Yeah, so today we have one of our guests last week has asked to talk on the softeners. That is very good. We have selected a topic that is called advanced softeners, sizing and benefits. So today we will talk on what is advanced softeners. I will give a very short and brief overview of what we are going to talk. So as first 10-15 minutes. Then we will have a discussion with Daniel. You are welcome to ask questions. So last time we suggest that you put your questions in the chat. This time you could do both ways. So first, if it's convenient for you, put your questions in a chat anytime. Also, if you want to ask a question, raise your hand. There is a button on the top of the Teams. So raise your hand. We will enable your microphone, and then you could ask a question. If you have a comment or any other thoughts, please also go ahead. Feel free. So basically, this is the arrangement for today, and let's get started. So you should see my screen now. Alexei, is everything okay?
Okay, we can see your presentation.
Thank you. So we will talk today on the advanced softener or super softener, so we will talk basically on the Ecomix filters with Ecomix media that was designed to treat problem water. So basically the water with hardness, iron, manganese, organics, and ammonium. The media was launched in 1998, so it's almost 25 years on the market. And the media is certified in the European Union. We will also talk more on this. Basically, the media is a composition of composition of resins available on the market and resins that are treated by us. So we modify two components of 5 that are inside Ecomix at our facility, providing new properties for these resins, and then we will mix everything and supply Ecomix in bags or in filters. And basically, this is how it works in general. So the Ecomix is also certified under the NSF standards. So we have a gold seal certificate that says that Ecomix is safe for drinking water applications, can be used in the residential softeners, and is lead-free. So we are, and Ecomix, I believe, one of the only media who has such a certificates that says about the safeness of a media. So Ecomix is especially good for iron removal and manganese removal. In my experience, this is the most reliable media to reduce iron in the residential applications. So basically, you install an advanced softener with Ecomix and you forget about iron for at least 5 years. Also, Ecomix is quite effective in reduction of manganese. What is also very good that Ecomix also reducing organic, and in some cases the water from the well might have color due to organic content in the water. Ecomix also absorbs organics quite good, but the biggest benefit of Ecomix is that it gives away organics during regeneration. And then the Humisorb serves for at least for 5 years. Also, a very good combination of Ecomix allows to remove organic iron from the water. So from in certain areas, you might have iron and organic in the water, and Ecomix is especially good to reduce such type of contaminants. Operation of Ecomix is the same as a softener. So of course, there are some small details that should be changed, but basically Ecomix is used in a softener. It has the same regeneration sequence like backwash, brining, backwash 2, fast rinse, and then filling the salt tank, the brine tank for the next regeneration. So if you don't use Ecomix now, it's very easy to start using it, very easy to learn how to do it. We have a lot of educational materials, a lot of documentation that explains how exactly you have to use Ecomix with clack valves, flak valves, and other valves that are on the market. We produce 3 types of Ecomix. They are all effective for hardness, iron, manganese, organics, ammonium. However, they are different in the efficiency of organic removal. So Ecomix C is the best one. It has 80% efficiency removal. However, Ecomix A and Ecomix P are not so effective in organic removal, and Ecomix P has 3 years of service life, while Ecomix A and C has 5 and more years, but the service life is 5 years. We are the only company in the world who not only produce the media but also use it by itself. So we have a big experience, a large experience in Ecomix applications. So we know all values, all data on the Ecomix application, all service rates, velocity, the bed depth, and we make it online. So I will today in this webinar we will talk on. We have digitalized this, and we made a very handy Ecomix calculator, and I will also explain how we use it and how we suggest to use it. So I would not stop on the technical details. Ecomix can be used both in the cabinet type filters and also in B-block filters, tank and the brine tank. We also talk a little bit later on this, what would be the difference in application. some more numbers, but I would not stop again. This is what we digitalize and made available in Ecomix calculator. And today in our talk, we will focus on the residential application of Ecomix. So we would not talk about the commercial ones. It could be the next topic, but today we will focus on the residential applications. And what is also important to mention that Ecomix can be used as the only filter, like on the top. So you have a sediment filter and Ecomix unit. And also Ecomix can be used in sequence with other medias. We will talk today, later, what kind of carbons do we suggest to use and what are the benefits that the customer might get. And also Ecomix could be one of a big sequence, a big technology to treat really problem water. If we compare Ecomix to the conventional setup, so Ecomix, first of all, it's much more simple, easier, and has 3 times less footprint in comparison to the conventional setup. So when you have 3 tanks in comparison to a tiny cabinet, so this is now a big benefit because you need less room for the filter in your basement or in a room with the filter. There are other components and there are other medias that have a similar properties and similar features on the market. So we know them, we know the competition, and if it would be needed today, we will also cover this topic. So we have the comparison in numbers, in properties of this media. I would not stop here in details, but again, you may bring us back to this topic if you want. Calculation, again, we will skip it for the further. And I will also like to to show that online, this is the catalog I show now, that it is online. And you may see many case studies on Ecomix in different parts of the world, starting from Ukraine, Europe, US, Far East. And I believe you may find, if you have a certain water test, you may find a water similar to what you have in hands, and you may see what would be the outcome and understand what is going to happen when you would install Ecomix. So you could also see that we explain also how the case studies for different types of Ecomix like C, A, and P. And the Q&A. So we put here the most curious questions that maybe you or our colleagues have asked, and we provide here the answers. So this is also nice to know what people ask. So this is basically all I wanted to cover in the first part. So now I will switch off the presentation, and we could talk on the questions that you or your customers may ask.
So in this case, I will just do the questions. So we are switching a little bit the roles this time, Rostislav, comparing to last Friday, because in this case we are having these talks, and this is something a little bit more technical. So I will maybe add some comments regarding the, let's say, the sales part of it. But in any case, this is quite a little bit more technical talks what we are having today. So probably the first question to start with will be, I mean, what a band softener is. I mean, this is the title, the topic of today, bro. So this is like, how can you explain it in a short way? And when should a dealer suggest an advanced softener for a house? When a professional water treatment company has to suggest it?
Well, the advanced softener is a filter that that not only softens water, but also reduce a number of other contaminants. So if we talk on Ecomix, so Ecomix softens water, and also it reduces iron, manganese, organic iron, and ammonium. And of course, the obvious answer that we should use the advanced softener when you have a water test in your hands, and you see that water contains, for example, iron and hardness, and this is a well water. Yeah, in this case, this is one of the most popular cases when Ecomix is used. Or, for example, in Eastern Europe, if you have tap water that contains hardness and has a color due to organic content, so in this case, Ecomix, for example, Ecomix C would be a very good solution, because the water would be both soft and have a blue color, not a yellow one after the treatment. But these are, I think, the obvious answers. But there are some answers that are not so, that are not on the surface, I would say. So imagine you are a dealer, and you know the water quality in your area, and you do the water test, and you see only hardness in the water, but you know that in this particular area, the iron might be present, and most likely present. So we suggest that if you install or going to install a filter in the area that iron is likely to be present, but in the time of analysis, it is not present. So we suggest in these cases also to think about the advanced softener, because the water changes over the season. Yes, very often in winter time, the iron content could be lower or absent, and during summertime, the iron might appear. So this is also the case where Ecomix advanced softeners should be suggested as a solution.
Great. So it is clear that it's much more than a standard softener. That's clear. And it is obvious that it's a nice, beautiful argument to offer something, just a product which is solving much more possible issues that you might have in the water. So this is the main difference between. So this is what really justifies or makes a difference as an advanced softener. Mm-hmm. So another question, because we are sure that many end users and consumers will always ask, is water treated with an advanced softener, let's say, drinkable?
Yeah, this is also one of the common questions, because many people, many end users assume the water treated by softener or advanced softener as technical water. Basically, from the regulation point of view, the water that is treated by Ecomix is drinkable, so it meets the water drinking standards, and also Ecomix has a certificate. So Ecomix is certified in EU as a media that is allowed to be in contact with food. So Ecomix does not leach any toxic components. So basically the water is drinkable. However, a dealer should be careful with sodium content. As you know, a softener is an exchange of calcium and magnesium into sodium. So if your water hardness is higher than 250 ppm, then you will exceed the sodium in the concentration of the sodium in the treated water would exceed the limits. And in this case, you have to suggest a kitchen, and on the kitchen water filter like RO filter. Also, you should be careful with other contaminants. So like nitrates. So if you are dealing with the well water, so pay attention to nitrates, because Ecomix does not remove nitrates from the water. And in this case, you have to suggest a reverse osmosis filter to make the water safe. And nevertheless, even though it is drinkable, we always suggest to put an RO filter in the kitchen, because there could be other contaminants that you would not see in the water, like micropollutants, like microplastics, So a combination of advanced softener as a whole house filter and point of use reverse osmosis as a point of use filter is perfect for the water in the house.
Nice. That's interesting. Actually, yeah, it's very important to keep recommending on our role. This is actually we are all here. I mean, professionals in water treatment, and it is clear that we all know what to recommend in every case. So a complete analysis is always welcome, and to have the solution for each specific problem is the proper job we have to do to keep positioning the professional water treatment companies in the right place. So always on a role will be good, will be nice to be added to be sure that we are cleaning the water perfectly well. But of course, it is drinkable, at least chemically talking. Then bacteriologically, it's another story that we could analyze later. But it is clear what is an advanced softener doing. So next question is something like, I mean, what are the first steps to have an advanced softener in a house? I mean, how can we all, as professional water treatment companies that we are here, try to start educating a little bit the end user about it?
This is also, I would share our experience in the Ukrainian market, how we suggest to act, what we suggest for the end user to do. So first, when a consumer wants to install a filter, a whole house filter, he or she should look for the local dealer. Yeah, so this is the first step. So again, the local dealers should also, you have to make sure that you are somehow visible, on Google Maps, in a small advertisement. If you have a store, you should somehow put some marks that you are there. Maybe advertisement, maybe online advertisement, but the finding the local dealer is very important, particularly when you have a problem water. If you have iron, manganese, ammonia, we have a question of ammonia. I will come back to it later. So find a dealer. Yeah, invite the dealer to the house to collect the water for testing. So a dealer might collect the water and bring it to the lab, or a dealer might do the test on site. Better to do both. So when you come to a house, you could do the test for iron, for hardness, for TDS, and then you could give already a short suggestion on the water quality. Also, we recommend to check the room where the filter will be installed. So check the piping, the space, if there is a drainage system, drainage pipe, electricity supply, measure the size of the room. So this is also very important to do so that you do not go back again, make photos. And then as soon as you have the water test done in the lab, you could then size and make the proposal for the end user.
Good, nice, thank you. So it's important, yeah. We need the dealer, we need the professional to analyze the water, to decide what is the proper one, and then to check if there is a space to install it, etc. We have a question here, Rostislav, on the chat that you can jump in whenever you consider, or we can continue with the.
Let's answer now. So Ecomix removes ammonia. Ecomix removes ammonium, not ammonia, but ammonium. And the maximum concentration level for ammonium is 4 ppm. So basically, then after Ecomix, the ammonium content would be less than 0.5 ppm that meet the drinking water regulation.
So just following a little bit thank you. Following a little bit the answer of the last question that you were asking, I mean, saying that the proper way is the dealer to take a sample, to send it to the laboratory, to do the analysis, etc. So the question is, what parameters are the important ones to select this kind of advanced softener or another type of water filter?
So basically, the key parameters are the hardness Then hardness, iron, manganese, organics, ammonia. So these are the parameters that are very important. Then we go nitrates. So this is also important to check the level of nitrates because they might be present in the water. Then pH, TDS, color, turbidity. So these are the basic parameters. In some areas, you can go wider, and then you may analyze the heavy metals. You may analyze the content of chlorides, sulfates. Also, pay attention to the microbiology. So if the well is deep, most probably you will skip it. But if the well is shallow, 20, 30 meters, and if you know that in these areas where you collect the water test, microbiology might be an issue, well, then suggest a water test on the microbiology, like total bacteria count, E. coli. This is what have to be measured.
This is great. That's very important. So we should check all these chemical parameters and then this meteorological part as well to be sure that we are advising and proposing the proper complete treatment for the house to have a nice, beautiful water at home. That's these 15, 20 parameters are the key one. This is great. And how because I mean we have to explain when we offer and explain to the end user that the solution is an advanced softener. We have to explain that it's regenerating and how it is doing it. So how often does an advanced softener regenerate, and how much salt does it use per regeneration?
Well, when we are back. When we as a dealer or you as a dealer are back to end user with a proposal, so first you have to explain that the filter would have inlet, outlet. This is clear, but also it would have the connection to drain. The filter will be regenerated. You will have to use regular salt for regeneration, yeah, pelletized salt, or salt for softeners, how you call it. And also a filter would need water for regeneration. So for example, if we talk about the advanced softener that serves a house with a family of 4 people, so this and we would take an average water test. This softener would consume around 200 kilos of salt a year. So basically it would consume around 5 kilos, maybe 4, maybe 5 kilos of salt every regeneration. And in addition to salt, it would also discharge from 400 to 500 liters of water every regeneration. And also we have to say that so it would increase somehow the water consumption by 7 to 10%. The family would use more water, not the family, but the house would use more water that is needed for regeneration. So this is it.
Okay, that's super important in my point of view because I mean we have to keep every single end user totally well informed about what we are proposing, how is the product working, and what are the needs and the necessity regarding the maintenance, the standard use, how it regenerates, how often, how much salt is it using, it is connected to drain. So this is something that it's important for the professional water treatment company. I mean. To keep the reputation of us and to keep the whole market everywhere, all around, as in a high position. It's I think the job we are all doing together, it's very important. So probably the next will be like a nice question that will probably come up to many people is because there is a difference between a standard softener and an advanced softener. This is clear. So what about if I have, let's say, iron and manganese in my water, but I have installed a normal standard regular softener? What would happen?
So a regular softener would also remove iron and manganese. And before panic or no panic, you should check what is the iron content and manganese content. So if the iron content is below 2 ppm, then the softener would handle this, and the treated water iron would be like 0.2, 0.2 ppm or less, but you have to use resin cleaners to regenerate the media, maybe once a year, maybe twice a year, but you have to add resin cleaners. You could check locally what is available on your market to remove iron, to remove adsorbed iron from the softening from the resin. If the iron is more than 2 ppm, most probably you would have a leakage of iron, and then in this case the softener would not handle. Also pay attention to the organic content. So if there is no organic, so the softener would absorb the iron. But if there is organic in the water, organic makes a compound with iron, and the softener would not remove such compound from the water. So in this case, you would have to go for advanced softener to reduce organic iron. So check not only the iron, but the organic. This is important. Also, the manganese. The manganese, this is like 50-50. It depends on the form of manganese. Normally, the manganese would not, even if the manganese leaks, it would not appear quite fast. The symptoms would not appear quite fast. But if you may talk to an end user, and if on the white kitchenware you would see black spots, this is the signs of manganese in the water. Also, the skin on the nails, very nice absorbent for manganese. So when you keep your hands very often in the water, then your skin on the nails would become black. These are the signs of manganese, and if you have a softener and these symptoms, it means that the softener does not remove the manganese from the water. We have one more question here. Why the water tastes salty after softening? So there might be two reasons why the water might be salty after softening. The first reason is that you did not rinse the softener properly after the brining. So in this case, please, if you maybe you could measure salinity just after regeneration, measure the salinity and compare it to the salinity before the softener. So if you have a significant difference, it means that you have to look again on the regeneration sequence. Also, you may feel the salty taste or test. Let's keep with test. After the softener, if the hardness is very high, so if your hardness is more than, I would say, 700 ppm calcium CO3, then after softening, the taste might be salty, and the test might be salty also if you have chlorides in the water. So chlorides plus sodium gives you a salty feeling, so a feeling of salt. I hope I have answered your question.
You have another one for that.
Is it possible to clean the Ecomix? So I would give a general answer. So I believe it will answer your particular case. So basically, we could have two types of I would say fouling, or two types of cases when you need to clean Ecomix. So the first case is when Ecomix is failed or covered by iron, and it does not remove iron effectively, so you have a leakage of iron. In this case, you have to clean Ecomix. You have to wash away the iron from the ferrosorb bit, and you can do it by intensive backwash. So what you basically do, you move the valve to the backwash position, then you shut off the valve after the media, after the unit, shut off the valve, put the valve into backwash position, and you can switch off the valve from the electricity supply. And then you keep it backwashing for 1 minute, then you close the valve before before the filter on 1 minute. Then again, 1 minute of backwash, 1 minute stop. And you do this cycles, backwash and stop, like 10 times. And then you bring back the electricity supply on the valve and resume the regeneration with salt. So after such sequence, most likely you will clean the EcoMix out of iron. Also, we have a written procedure. You could contact us afterwards, and then we will provide you a written procedure on that. So this is one case, and there is another case, a second case, when EcoMix can be fouled with bacteria. So if your water is not safe, if the water is not safe, you may clean EcoMix with bleach, with household bleach. So basically, you have this is a second written procedure which we could provide you. Just contact us afterwards. So you put a bleach in the brine, but be careful with the dosage. So in the written procedure, we have a specific dosage how to do this, and then you do the regeneration, and after the regeneration, the EcoMix you would clean EcoMix out of bacterial growth. There is one more question. Oh, it's nice. So many questions. From your experience, if water contains manganese, iron, hardness, and nitrates are slightly above the limits, would you go for EcoMix and domestic RO and commercial RO? So on the answer for Katerina question would be that in this case, I would suggest both ways for the end user. So we would also stop on this question later a little bit, but I would suggest two ways. So the first way would be advanced softener and domestic RO, and commercial RO, and advanced softener and commercial RO. So I would go this way, and I would explain the benefits of each technology, of each approach to end user, and I would let end users make a decision. Yeah, so our idea, our job is to explain what would be the outcome of every approach, what would be the benefits, what would be the disadvantages, what would be the price, because the price is also important criteria. And then you may talk with end user and come up or decide which way you will go. If the water has no chlorine, can I use chlorine generator when the valve makes regeneration? Yes, you may. I don't know the reason why you want to do this, but you can check additionally with technical support the concentration the concentration of chlorine the chlorine cell generates. We have tested several chlorine cells, and all of them were okay with EcoMix. I mean, not the chlorine generators, but the concentration of chlorine that is created. But you may come back to us, and yeah, we could look in more details. Is it possible to pass this procedure on to us? Yes, it is possible. I think you may contact Yulia. Yulia will, or Alexei, technical support. We will send you today. So we may keep on.
Great. Yeah, we keep moving on. Great. Thank you so much, Rossi. Beautiful answers to nice questions. So just following a little bit the last question, it is clear that there is, I mean, nothing we cannot compare. I mean, it is clear that in the moment that we have any suspicions that there is a little bit of more issues in the water, it's clear that we cannot go with a standard softener. We need an advanced one. That's clear. So you have explained very well the possible symptoms that we can find, see, and a little bit smell everywhere to decide that the proper product that we need is finally an advanced softener. Now, the question here will be now how to size it. I mean, does it have to be big, small? What are the main parameters that we have to all consider to decide what is the right one per each case?
Yeah, this is I would say most important step when you design a water filtration system for the residential application. Yet how to size the filter. Yes, and in many countries the approach is different. So somebody goes via the number of people in the house. Somebody goes via a number of faucets in the house, and with a softener, in most cases, each approach is okay. But with advanced softener, with Ecomix, we should go in two-step approach. So the first step, we have to know how many faucets are in the house. So we have to know what would be the maximum flow rate through the filter. Our experience, we calculate in this way. So one faucet is 0.6 cubes an hour per faucet. So if a house with a kitchen and 2 bathrooms, so then you have 0.6 by 3, you have 1.8 cubes an hour. So this is the maximum flow rate you would have through the filter. And this is step number 1. So when you know what would be the flow rate, then you go to the catalog and select the filter with the required flow rate. Then the step number 2, you should check what would be the frequency between regenerations. So our goal to be in the range of 5 to 10 days. So this is our recommended frequency of regeneration. To make life easier, I will now share the screen. So to make life easier, we have digitalized this process. So you may go to ecosoft.com website, then go Ecomix, then press calculator. You can see my screen. Daniel, can you see my screen? Okay.
Yes.
And then you scroll down a little and you put your water test. Let's say we have the hardness 250, we have iron 4.3, you have manganese like 1, small oxide, low COD, and we have 2 ppm of ammonia. And then we know that we have a house with 3 faucets. So we select this unit, we select the valve, and what we see here. So we see that we need a tank with 12 by 52 vessel, 10 by 52 vessel, 2 bags of Ecomix, 50 liters, and then the volume capacity would be 6,000 liters. So let's stop at this value. So this is the volume between regenerations. If we have a family of 4 people, so we take 150 liters per day per person. So in this case, in this example, the daily consumption would be 600 liters. So when we divide 6,000 by 600, then we would have regeneration every 10 days. So in this case, we are done. We can go to the next step. But let's see what would happen if the water quality, if the water hardness would be like 650 ppm. Then we do recalculation. And we see that here the volume capacity now is 2,300 liters. So it means that we would have regeneration every 4th day. So we divide this value by 600 and we would have like 3 point something. Then it means that the unit is okay for the service flow rate, but it is not okay for the volume capacity, because in this case, a family might feel poor water quality in the last days before a generation. Because the water consumption within a week is also fluctuating. Yeah, sometimes you do washing, sometimes you don't, sometimes you have guests, sometimes you not, and this influence. And then if the days between the generations are low, like 3 or 4 days, it means that on the very last day you might feel the water is not so good. And then if you have iron in the water, it's not a good story. So in this case, you should select a next unit. So you could go either for 13 by 54, or you could go to 16 by 65. So my choice would be 16 by 65, because in this case, you would have regeneration every fifth day. So this is the way how we size units.
This is great. That's perfect. Yeah. So we have to keep an eye on the flow. That's important to keep all the, the whole house covered, and that will depend on the amount of people living on it, considering the 0.6 cubic meters per hour flow per faucet. And by the other hand, we have to find the way to get one advanced softener that regenerates between every 5 and 10 days, more or less. So that's beautiful. Yes. And this tool is really helping a lot. This is really working very, very well. So now we find also that many customers, they are asking the following, because in many cases they think, okay, but I need to bypass some harness because I don't want to remove the whole amount of harness in the water, because maybe, it's not 100% recommended because of many different reasons. But at the same time, I'm having all these other problems in water. I don't manganese and etc. So what do I have to do it just with a mixing valve, using the one maybe the system might even have it included in the same bypass or included in the valve? Or how do I have to, or how can I just allow a little bit of hardness to pass through but not the rest of the things, let's say? How we can do it?
So if you have, I jump a little bit to another catalog. So if you have a softener and if you have only hardness, then it's easy. Every softener has an external or internal mixing valve. You adjust it, then test the water hardness, keep it like 50, 75 ppm of calcium CO3, and everyone is happy. But in case if you have iron in the water, and you will go this way, so you will also mix, or you will also blend a little bit of iron to the treated water, and the customer for sure won't be happy. So in this case, we have also two approaches. So the first one, we can explain end user that he does not need residual hardness. This is also the way, because there are many people who like completely softened water. For example, I like completely softened water, like this feeling of soap on your skin, and this is what somebody likes, somebody dislike. But if a family wants to have some hardness, even though the water is a problem water, with iron, then we go this way. So we put Ecomix unit, and upflow Ecomix unit, we put a unit with Centaur activated carbon. On the Ecomix unit, we put either internal or external mixing valve, and we blend a little bit of feed water bypassing Ecomix unit. So we blend iron and we blend manganese, hardness. And then the Centaur unit would remove iron, blended iron, but Centaur would keep the hardness in the water. So this is the approach we do. And then after this scheme, the water would have desired hardness, but no iron. And this is the way you may also go. Also, it's very nice that when you have a pressure vessel, or a pressure tank with activated carbon like Centaur, the water would be fantastic afterwards. So it would have a very beautiful, very transparent color, especially when you put it in the bath tube. You would really feel this azure color. And I saw many end users, many customers who have this scheme. They were happy like kids.
Good. That's great to know that this is a nice, beautiful way, and this drawing is just perfect for all of us to know how to solve it. So this is our fantastic advanced softener. But what about if we compare these to, let's say, the classical way of removing hardness with a standard softener, let's say, and also have like an iron removal in the old school way, like long time ago. What are the pros and cons between an advanced softener and the conventional way of removing iron and softening, let's say, into different systems?
Well, the conventional way is also possible, and it would require more trained staff on the dealer side, because when you deal with iron removal filter, you have to take into consideration much more data. So you have to know what is the water test, what is the sulfates content, what is the content of hydrocarbons. You have to be careful with the pH, because the medias, some of the medias are sensitive to the pH. This is first. So when you have to be more, you have to spend more time when you select the media. Then every iron removal media is heavy. So it means that you would need to look for additional pump to backwash this media. Also, the velocity, the service velocity of iron removal media and Ecomix is different. So Ecomix is twice faster, purifies the water in comparison to iron removal media. Basically, it means if you have a private house with the water demand of 1.8 cubes an hour, and you go for iron removal, your iron removal filter should be larger. If you go for Ecomix like 12 by 52, then most probably the media with iron removal media should be like 16 by 65 tank. And then you would definitely need an additional pump to backwash. And these are the disadvantages. Of course, there are advantages, because with such a scheme, in some case, if you do it correctly, you could treat the water maybe with some higher iron content. And if the water comes from the water tower, when it's oxidized, then in this case, this scheme would be preferable in comparison to Ecomix. But then these are the pros and cons. The Ecomix I have shown in the initial presentation that Ecomix is much more simple to treat, and it requires to apply, and it requires less space for installation, and also it requires less qualified staff. So basically, you could train a person to use Ecomix within, I don't know, within a few weeks of training, some installation, and then they could do, they could select and they could install Ecomix units on their own.
So finally, we have just make everything easier. I mean, we try to make our life easier as a professional water treatment companies, and then just make, one nice, beautiful advanced softener that solves all the problems in one. So no sizings, no big vessels, no oxidizing, etc., etc. Not so many calculations, so much easy to go. That's great. So yeah, that's important. Good. So we're just arriving at the end, because we don't want to go much farther than 1 hour, because we know we are all busy and we are all have many things to do. So the first thing that I would like to ask to everyone before going to the last question is if you have any a special topic that you would like us to talk a little bit about during our nice, beautiful Friday talks, that we try to do it in an easy way, and we would like you to make as many questions as possible. So if you want to suggest us any specific topic for us to talk about during these Friday talks, please let us know. Just write it down in this moment on the chat, and we will just, we have we have dozens of topics that we would love to talk during the following weeks. But the ones you really are a little bit, let's say, more interested, we will just advance them and put them in a priority position. And then let's say, last but not least, let's consider that we are having quite a difficult water. Let's say that we are having Python, and we are having also a high amount of hardness, but the TDS, the complete amount of total dissolved substances in water, let's say something like over 500 ppm. We have maybe 600 or 700. What can we suggest here?
So first of all, we have to talk to the end user, and we have to explain. So if the TDS is high and the hardness is high, you may ask, what is a high TDS? So I would suggest that if the TDS is more than 500 ppm, so it is already a water that you should pay attention to it, because after softening or after advanced softening, this kind of waters, they would form white spots on the bath tubes, on the faucets. So you would have these white spots, not a spots of calcium that it's quite hard to remove. Yeah, you need chemicals to remove it, but it would be a spots of sodium hydrocarbonate. It's easy to remove, but some customers, especially the customers who are very have high demand on the quality, you have to explain that the softener or advanced softener, it does not remove salts. What it does, it removes calcium and replaces it with calcium that forms quite heavy deposits, and it removes it by sodium that can also form a deposit when the water evaporates from the surface. And telling this to customer, you actually explain what would be the water quality afterwards. Because if we don't explain this, if the water has a TDS far away higher than 500, then you may have a complicated talk afterwards with the end user, because he or she would expect that the surfaces in the bathroom would be ideally and shiny, but there will be some white spots, yeah, and we have to explain that. And in some cases, I would also scroll down. In some cases, you may go for the reverse osmosis, whole house reverse osmosis system, yeah, just to remove all the salts that are in the water. And this is also one of the approaches. And I believe that in the future, we would have more and more commercial ROs installed as the whole house filters, because the commercial RO makes a real difference in the water quality. You feel how water becomes much more different in comparison to the softened water. And my recommendations that don't be afraid. Talk to a customer when you have problem water, explaining, educating, and and then finally you and the customer would take the approach you want to take.
Great, totally agree. It's all about chemistry, and it's all about everybody, all of us. I'm sure that we have a lot of anecdotic situations where a customer was complaining about these famous white spots everywhere around, and they were expecting to have them solved. All of a sudden, once a nice, beautiful softener or an advanced softener was installed for the whole house, and this is not like that. It depends on many other factors and things that we might find inside water. So it's all about chemistry. So let's try to be as professional as possible. and you know, approach the customer, the end user, in the proper way, and keep them informed correctly about what is a softener, an advanced softener, you know, and every other product that we offer, doing in a proper way. And if it's necessary to go with a commercial roll for the whole house, let's go and do it. This is always an option. And as you will say, that will probably happen more and more often in the future.
Daniel, maybe we should ask our guests if somebody has a question to ask. I know that it's already 1 minute past 12, but if someone has a question, you are highly welcome. Raise your hand or write in chat.
Of course, whoever wants to participate, more than welcome. Don't be shy.
So then, no questions in chat, no raised hands. Then it's a time to wish nice end of the week, nice weekends. Keep yourself safe, and see you next Friday.
Thank you, everyone. I'll see you again next Friday.
Yeah, bye.
Take care.
Take care.